at Costco and I'm talking to the cashier, you know, just saying, you know, normal everyday talk or whatever. And I was like, yeah, where'd you guys get these eggs from? Because they got new eggs, basically. They're like these, like, it's kind of like what you'd find in the supermarket, just these weird, the chronological egg clamshell made of styrofoam. And they never had those before. It was always the thin plastic ones, and they sold them for 24 eggs, and they sold them for, I think it's like $7.99 or something like that. But they had to get these in ever since they had the egg crisis or whatever. And I was like, man, yeah, I don't really like these eggs. Where these even come from? He's like, oh yeah, you know, we just barely got them, yada yada yada. And I was like, wow. Then I was like, I'm unfortunately stuck on the brown eggs. And he was like, oh, it's not unfortunate. It's actually, you know, a healthier choice. Which I don't know for facts if the brown eggs or the regular white eggs are a healthier choice. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But then he mentions his son. He was like, yeah, I wish my son was more, you know, was more fit. And that got me thinking, like, okay, so I'm not sure how obese or non-obese or how fat, non-fat he is. I don't know his son. I've never seen him. But the fact that he said that is obviously he's out of shape enough for you to be like, yo. And the guy I'm talking to is definitely out of shape, but he's older, you know, he's an older guy. He has a big, what they would call in Spanish, a panza, you know, a big stomach. And I'm thinking like, well, as a kid, I feel like the kids kind of grow up as the parents do. Now there are some anomalies, but for the most part, they grow how the parents are. So if you're a parent that likes to eat a lot, your kid probably likes to eat a lot. If you're a parent that likes to eat a lot of sweets, I'm sure that your kid likes to eat a lot of sweets. So I'm like thinking in my mind, what kind of parent were you? Like what dad were you? So were you the fat dad? Like the whole entire life of your child, were you always the guy that had the big stomach on him and, you know, things like that? Because then he's just mirroring what he grew up with. I'm like, because if that's it, then okay, that makes sense that he's out of shape right now. Like me, I'm in shape. But as my son grows, if I just become out of shape, then all he's going to remember is how dad was out of shape. So it's okay to be out of shape. And it's not. And I mean, especially with child obesity and a lot of children are getting like weird old person diseases like diabetes. You know, like a lot of younger kids will get that because they're the high intake of sweets and no nutrition and things of that nature. And I'm like, wow, that got me thinking, because I have a kid, you know, I'm like, you know, I would love to understand how to make sure that I don't, you know, that I don't become a feeder essentially, you know. I don't want to just sit there and have to take care of my son because he's obese and can't do it for himself. You know, but that would ultimately be my fault, so I would have to, you know. That's just, it's kind of crazy to think about. Because I was thinking about it like, well, what kind of parent was he? Like was he a fat dad or a skinny dad? I don't know, this just got me thinking, and this is the conversation I was about to have anyways with myself. So I was like, you know what, let me flip on this camera and talk about it to the 5-10 people are going to see this anyways, you know. So I was like, you know what, I don't know, because I obviously have slacked on this channel, and I was going to post every day, and I get demotivated by low numbers. I do. I get motivated when it's up, and I get demotivated when it's down. And I know I should just listen to Mr. Beast when he says, you know, it doesn't matter, just keep posting. Essentially the numbers will catch up with themselves if your content is quality enough. And for me, I'm like, it's not really just about the content on this channel, because I have another channel where it is about the content. I feel like this is mainly for me to essentially talk to myself and just post it on the internet as like a full-blown rant about whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure, man. I don't know like what I want this channel to be. I kind of want this to be like the journal, you know, like a journal of just my thoughts. Because I haven't posted on this channel in so long that whoever was watching it probably ain't watching no more. man, whatever, dog. I'm not really worried about who's watching or not watching. I mean, I should be. I mean, I kind of am, technically. I know. I'm going back and forth. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video. But that was the whole thought process of it. I was thinking about, like, well, you know, do obese, fat people, I don't know if that sounds like, you know, no, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to sit there and censor myself. Obese, fat people, if they grow other obese, fat people. Because as a kid, I used to have this friend. His name is Chris, and Chris had a mom named Ann, and Ann was overweight, but Chris wasn't. He was skinny. His brother Chad was athletic, and his brother Kurt, he wasn't fat, but I mean, probably nowadays he's fat because he was chunky. He was getting chunkier for sure. I don't know him nowadays, so I couldn't tell you. But if anyone out of that family was fat, I could almost guarantee Kurt would be, because of the fact that, for one, he's the oldest. For two, he's more likely to be a mama's boy because that was the only child. The other two, after that, became their own thing because the main focus has always been on their first child. The other ones are like, all right, cool. While she's not being able to do for herself because she used to have to come up the stairs and she would be like completely wiped out just by the time she got to the top of 20 stairs, you know? So Kurt, I feel like, is the only one out of that family that's actually fat today. If I were to see a picture of him today, I would say that he was probably the fat one. And the other two that he kind of like raised, because like I said, your mom is obese and can't really do for everyone else. I mean, she could do a little bit, but she couldn't do a lot. So she would rely on her oldest to go out and save the children, basically, and, you know, make sure they grow up in a healthy household, which he did a good job. He played the role of dad and brother at the same time, which is a hard task to do, especially when you're young, you know, like you want to do your own life. You shouldn't have to do this, but, you know, like right now, either that lady has passed away or she is completely immobile, for sure. Now that's only if she didn't decide to, like, you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm going to try and do something. I'm going to consult help. I'm going to whatever to get it going. That's the only way. Otherwise, she is either dead or, I mean, we're talking about, like, I haven't seen her. I knew her when I was 8 years old. So 32 years ago, she was that way. So I can only guarantee it, like, almost guarantee that she is still that way. 32 years ago today, now she's either dead or completely immobile. You know, and I hope to God that she got some help, that she is still living, because obviously she has kids. Her kids have probably already had kids. So that means she has grandkids. I'm sure she wants to be around to see the grandkids, right? Like, you know, everyone has their own issues. I mean, some people have it just run in their genes and have thyroid issues, but all of these things don't mean that it's impossible to get in shape. It's just some people, it's harder for other people to get in shape, especially if you are a woman. Women have hormones, and it's really hard for a woman compared to a man to lose weight. Like me, I've been fat skinny my entire life. So that means when I've gotten fat, I've gotten back down to skinny. When I've been skinny, I got back to fat, kind of like, and my level of fat isn't what someone else would consider fat. I would have to be up almost to 300 pounds for someone to be like, dude, you are fat, dog. You are getting, whoa, like you're 282 and your stomach's starting to, you know, I've never been that high, but I have been close. I've been at 248 at the highest. And it wasn't a healthy 248. It didn't feel good. And I immediately had this overwhelming feeling of I didn't want to be up that high anymore. Now I'm probably around between 210, 220, which is a good weight for me. But like the national average says that I should definitely be skinnier. They think I should be 176 at 6'2". To me, if I was 176, I feel like I would just be too thin. I feel like it'd be like a toothpick, because I feel like I've seen someone that, like, well, my friend Nick, he's, the lowest he ever was at 132, which is crazy. But he was at 132 pounds at his lightest, and he is 5'11", so he's just below me, and that's skinny. Like even today, where he's not that thin anymore, his calves are like they're like thin. So the only thing he really kind of like preserves weight in is his face, his stomach, and in his arms. So his legs don't really get fat. He could be fat, and I feel like his legs still be like skinny little legs. And like I said, it's all, a lot of it has to do with genetics. But if he decided to really go on a weight journey, you could improve those leg muscles, and you could rip them up, or you could make them get thicker. Now, obviously, you're only going to get so big by doing that. If you use some creatine or something, you might be able to inflate them with water. Like, I don't suggest anyone doing creatine at all, because it's not real muscle. Those are blow-up muscles. You're literally having water injected into your muscles to make them look bigger. It's not actual muscles. When you stop taking creatine, they deflate, and then they're like, well, I should just get back on it, you know? I don't know. This video is going on long enough. I'll ramble on for another 20-30 minutes. I just don't feel like bouncing out that video because it's going to take forever. So I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to post a video. Forget about an outro. It's over.